I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.
So it was interesting how I actually got into real estate is we grew up in a five-family house, right? I talk about it in my book. We lived in the attic, and the winters was really cold and the summers was really hot because there was no insulation, right? And my mother, she worked for the post office, and my father, he was like the black MacGyver. Like my pops could do, fix, do anything, right? And it was interesting that the lady, we called her mom, who owned the house, she was moving back to Kansas. So my father, who had been, the maintenance guy for the property for her, right, and never took any money from her. He's just a good, salt of the earth kind of guy. But he took the pride in the house, right, as though it was his. So when it was time for her to leave, she said, Ben, I'm going to give you an opportunity to buy the house. And, they didn't have the money. So she's like, well, I'll hold the paper because she owned the house. So holding the paper is she holds the mortgage because she's the bank, right? Once you pay off an asset, it's yours, right? You just have to pay the taxes. So now you pay her, you pay the owner, right? As though you would pay a bank. And so she gave them the opportunity. And why does that work well? Well, it's not the same credit check, not the same requirements, not the same, traditional method that you may have to go through, which allowed them to be owners. Now, this was looking at what it was, like you're talking about five families, right? So now she was gone, mom, right? So we moved from the top floor to the first floor, and now you have four other units that are generating income. So my pops, like my mother, she worked at the post office, so all the benefits was covered. My father was able to be home with us, right? Like, and do his thing during the day, right? And, be him. And the house generated income. And that's where the light bulb went off for me, was like, yo, I want to be like my dad. I want that freedom. Like, cause he moved around, he was able to be with his kids, he was able to be with his friends, he was able to create, just be creative, right? And just had the freedom, right? And that's when I got into the opportunity of making income. Was like, I'm gonna build that for myself, right? And I'm gonna build it, to the best of my ability, right? So as opportunities presented itself, I just kept going. So what is my taste? I found myself, being very broad in how I approach things. Multis obviously are the best aspect, right? But they're probably going to be more expensive just because they're income generating. I owned a whole city block in Hartford at one point. 18 units, 9 units, 8 units, 10 units, 12 units is the mix of my portfolio. Manhattan property, Chicago, Jersey, Florida, and New York, right? And in that, I always look for a jewel. So it would be a situation where, it's always undervalued, right? Patience for me, right? And connections, meaning like, some of the best resources come from people and where they are and what they see. And I was able to put together this portfolio, one with a lot of research, right? Back before everybody was doing Zillow and, realtor.com and all of that stuff, man, was doing that, and got into investing, flipping, holding. But the majority of what I do is hold, right? So I buy low and I hold, right? Because, I have properties that give me 40-50% returns because I bought it so low and I own it outright, right? And that ultimately, for somebody else, if you're talking to a finance guy, they tell you, well, listen, that's not enough return, or you could be using your money, or real estate. You need to know your strategy of what it is that you want to do. So I own a mixture, to answer your question, of all kinds of things from multis to high-end condos.
Hey, I love that. And I love how you got to start. I love how you got to see your family.
Started
Like you
at
said,
home.
yeah, it started at home. Y'all moved from the top, from paying this woman her income. And then those same families that y'all was paying with ended up becoming y'all income. So I just love how you were able to learn that lesson also at a young age. And once again, be a forward thinker, being someone who had that foresight and said, this is how I kind of want to move too. Like, this is cool that my dad does not have to go out here and really bust his ass, come home late at work, not be able to see me, not be able to come to some of my things at school, because that's important. As much as we might not say, that's so important to a child when growing up. Because I remember whenever I grew up in a single family household, my mom, she couldn't make it because she had to work and provide. So even though I'm getting some of the accolades, as a child, you feel empty because you look out into that crowd, you hear people, you know, they're clapping for you, but there's no one that you have that you can share that with. So with you being able to experience that and saying, you know, this is what I want to do for my children, that's powerful that you were able to be instilled that into you.
But it goes deeper though, right? And it's back to what we're talking about, the lessons. Like for the companies that I worked for during my tenure, it was a requirement for everybody to own something. I taught everybody how to buy their first place. You're not going to work for me and not be an owner. Like that doesn't happen. Like it does not, you're not going to sit and applaud and look at me and, yo, oh, Benny got this, Benny got, no, you're going to have it too, right? And that's what's most important, right? Is showing people, not having them guess at it. Like that's, everybody who worked for me became an owner, like a property owner, because that's part of, you know, day one conversation. How you gonna teach you how to save your money? I'm gonna teach you how to get it. I'm gonna put you with the right people on how to, you know what, change your life and your family's life, because it starts with all of us, right? And we got to stop talking about it and be about it, right?
Hey man, that's beautiful, people, man.
I love it, man.
I love it too. So yeah, now we can move on to the
I
app
do
now.
want to go to the app now. Yeah. So Benny, man, you was telling us about this app and it sounds so precious. Can you tell us more about Kandiid? So for people that want to know how it's spelled first, I'm gonna tell y'all it's Kandiid.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So Kandiid is it's an amazing concept that the founder and CEO Antoine McLaughlin, a young cat at 29 years old out of Columbia, South Carolina, actually pitched me the idea in concept, right? And this is where I think the value of what I learned in entertainment, right, is as we talked about the executives that I've been a part of their careers and artists that have been a part of their careers, identifying talent. And talent is in every aspect of life. So when he brought the concept and he was raising money at the time, I was like, stop. Yeah, I want what's remaining of this. I'm buying it, right? So I took the last share and we closed the round in the founders round. And what it is, it's a new concept, right? From an African-American app developer, where if you think about Instagram and you think about OnlyFans, right? Instagram is about like and followers, and OnlyFans is porn and subscription. We're micropayments, right? So what does that mean? So for example, you guys have all your behind the scene content, whether you're an athlete and you have your workout videos, or you're an artist and you want to preview some exclusive stuff that you don't want to put on the gram. So now you can come to Kandiid, right? And think of us as more of the Amazon of content. You as the user can come to the platform and you can offer your content for free, right? Or you can charge up to $99. And on our site, a post is up to 40 pieces of content and 10 1-minute videos, or an assortment thereof. So you top out at 40 pieces of content, photos, or 10 1-minute videos. And you now say what the price is for your
content.
Yes.
Hey, that's dope as hell.
Very interesting concept, man. I like the micropayments thing because, like, with mobile, that's definitely a trend that people have been picking up on, like with those like freemium apps and things like that, where it's like people are a lot more prone to making that small commitment each time with the little bit versus making that
Yeah, I
big
don't want to
commitment.
commit to you all month, man. Like, I got them jewels today. I'm like, yo, Dave, you was hot today. I may not come back again. Why am I paying for you the whole month? Like, you gave it to me today. I won't pay for it, right? It's immediate, and I can go on, right? And obviously, you're gonna, as the influencer, you're gonna create the vehicle and avenue for your folks because you set the content of the content. We don't do that. We just provide the venue and the avenue for you now to transact, right? We're just the marketplace for you.
Hey man, that's precious as hell, man. Y'all, it launched already, or
Yeah, we're in the app. We're in the app store in beta now. Like I said, Kandiid, and we're rolling out strong.
I'm going to download
Top
that
of the
right
year.
now.
That's right. We're gonna take that one. We're gonna take that. We pitching money next week. You're right. I'm taking them too.
but that's really, really dope, especially for creatives, because there's a lot of times where people, they'll put out content, they don't know how to really monetize those skills. Or even on Instagram, you see a lot of these comedians, excuse me, they're doing all of these great things and they're getting hundreds of likes and all of this and that, but at the same time, they're not making their bread on this. So it's cool that you're giving them the option to make that bread, but still provide that value that they're doing with that content.
And think about it. Erykah Badu did it best during the pandemic, where she offered her friends an opportunity to come in her house, and was it in her bedroom? She performed for, she charged people $1. She made over $1 million. Right?
I could believe it. Like, think about it. Like, that's why I said the way that's crazy. Because if you got the audience, you charge 99 cents. People will spend 99 cents, especially
like
on the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
They already got the information in the app store. They ain't got to think hard about
You
it.
already got your Apple Pay already linked.
And then one thing I think that's real cool about it, it goes back to what you was talking about earlier with like getting that leverage and that proof of concept too. Like if you were an artist and you were doing your own, let's say, private concerts or something on there, like a smaller artist, maybe not an Erykah Badu, then like once you go to a label or something like that, like what we were talking about earlier, now you have that leverage. No, I've done this. This is how many sales I have. This is how many tickets I can sell consistently. So now you can't give me a bad deal. I was just interested as far as like, how do you feel about that as far as how artists are going about expanding upon their brands? I know you had said earlier, you have to have like kind of an idea of what you want your identity to be because the label is going to be a finisher. So how do you feel about like Travis Scott coming in doing deals like the concert with Fortnite and then the McDonald's Travis Scott meal and stuff like that?
Super incredible. Like Travis has always been forward, right? As an artist and kind of like what we're talking about, vision, right? Like he's always seen himself being the person he is right now, which is, I mean, I want you to follow what I'm saying. Like we were there day one when he came through the bill and Tip and those guys brought him in, right? And Jason Jeter and those guys. But he saw himself in this moment 8 years ago, right? So he moved like that. So for him to be here is not a surprise to him, right? Like y'all remember he had the little Travis style. He wasn't really, he kind of like defined himself. Like he's definitely urban, street, cultural, but he's doing rock stuff. Like, you know what I mean? He's defined himself and saw himself and carved his marketplace to be the success that he is. So no, not surprised. And to see the door open only allows other people who look like him and look like, the culture to get the opportunities. But also what comes with that was a lot of success, right? And the kid, the people who are really successful, they work really hard. The ones who aren't fly by night, like they work really hard. So, it's not by chance that people who are truly successful, like they put in the hours, 10,000 hours, they say, or at least 9,999, right? They working at it, right? So that's why there are only a few superstars, right? It's things that separate, average from from supernatural, right? Like, right? Good from great, right? You know, great to phenomenal. So, you know, whatever adjective you want to play with, but it's more important to realize, like, you know, if you're gonna talk about it, you really got to be about it.
Have to put that time in. I love
Hell
that 10,000
yeah.
hour rule, man.
And I'm trying to get them 10,000. I'm trying to get to 20,000. I want to
There
be
you
a
go.
master of the game, man.